This is the one I'm gonna post. Here we go. I think I want a cello. Come with me as we do a massive art haul. At the end of 2024, I was having a lot of depression. Given how goal-oriented I am, I thought to maybe satisfy my inner child while also, technically speaking, invest in my business. This is not a sketchbook tour and I'm not very talented, but you can come back for that later. This year has definitely been one of my most adventurous, artistically speaking. I've never been this unafraid to make what I call bad drawings, ugly drawings. And I hope through this video and kind of sketchbook tour, I can convince you that there is no good without the bad. Sometimes, even the bad looks really good. Sometimes the bad just looks bad, and that's okay. But until you try and until you do, you cannot be great at anything. And anyway, the aim is not to be great. The aim is to feel human again. To feel like you're creating for you rather than for capitalism. Not doing it for likes or views. Doing it because, my god, it feels so good to make blobs on paper. This has basically become a sketchbook tour at this point. I've always been deathly afraid of using my art supplies. Not because I was afraid of what I would make, but more so because stuff is expensive. Paints are expensive, paintbrushes are expensive, and using products when you know you're not good yet is a really difficult mindset to overcome. To kind of have enough faith in yourself that over time you will make bad drawings, but they will lead to a foundational understanding and artistic insight that you otherwise will not be able to gain is something that is very difficult to explain to younger people. Without further ado, welcome to my art haul. And I really wish I had understood this sooner, because at this point in my life, I feel that I would be much farther along in my skills journey as an artist. Unfortunately, due to money restraints and other issues growing up, as well as the fact that art is not a real career, quote unquote, it was just very difficult to kind of justify that level of cost. And so I would not use my sketchbooks and they would pile up, and I would just touch the paper and smell the paper and just imagine what I could make. Which is why when I finally got my iPad, it was a dream come true, because I was finally able to use all the colors, all the resources, without constantly having to reinvest in art supplies. And that's the thing, isn't it? Once you stop being afraid of wasting supplies, you start seeing art for what it is, a process, a conversation between you and yourself. As cheesy as that sounds, it's true. It's almost like you can kind of sink into your own psyche, because sometimes when you're doing art, you enter this Zen state, and it just feels so relaxing and so therapeutic. And I'd argue it's just as important as touching grass. I'm not even going to talk about perfectionism, because my god, but let's talk about the concept of being good enough. Good enough for who? For what? For likes? For views? For validation from strangers who don't even know you exist? It's one of the biggest traps the world has seen, to be good enough at something. A word I came upon recently, which we all know and use in our daily life, is amateur. And what does amateur actually mean? To be an amateur is to be a person who engages in a pursuit on an unpaid rather than a professional basis. It is said to do something in an incompetent way, someone who is not a professional. But if you ignore that capitalistic definition for 1 second and look at the etymology of amateur, you'll find that it's a late 18th century word from French, from Italian, from Latin. It just means love, lover. It means to love something so much that you're willing to be bad at it, to just engage with it. It's to create for the love of love, not for anything else. And I find that to be so incredibly uplifting and wholesome and just supporting. It's just one of the most supportive things I've read in a while. And I hope if you take nothing away from this video, the only thing you take away is that as long as it makes you happy, it really doesn't matter if you're good or bad at it. Just do it because it makes you happy. How is that not good enough of a reason? Am I making sense? Am I getting too sentimental and corny and cheesy? Okay, I'll shut up. So yeah, I have a problem. It's not a problem, it's an investment, and I'm gonna use all of this stuff. I'm gonna learn how to use it. I'm gonna be really good at it. And yeah, this is how people grow, okay? It's investment. You wouldn't question anybody buying a new machine for their business, for like their something or the other, and that's why my mom is not gonna be mad at me for this, and it's all good. A lot of the stuff isn't actually new, it's just stuff that I've been kind of collecting over the course of 2024 that I've been afraid of opening and using, because you buy something and then you're like, oh my god, I'm just going to completely destroy this product and waste my money, and I shouldn't have ever bought it to begin with. But it's 2025 now. We have sat with it for a year, or at least 6 months. And it's time to get over our fear and make beautiful art and ugly art, and both symbiotic relationship. And yeah, we're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. This is a lot of art stuff. Where do I start? I'm excited. This is good. Yes, let's stay excited. It's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna age myself here, but for those of us who grew up watching Barney and Friends, yeah, this feels like one of those moments where he used to open that magic box and used to get all those art supplies. It's like, I live in that box now. It's just pretty cool. Okay. Can't believe I'm 31. I'm so happy about art supplies. Okay, bye.